Hey YouTube. Alright, so this is going to be a review of my new ultralight pack. This is the Hyperlite Mountain Gear Windrider Southwest. This is the new version. They've kind of beefed it up a little bit, but still the same weight. They've added a lumbar pad, different hip pads I think, changed the webbing around on it a little bit. Now, even though I live in the southeast, I went with the southwest, just because in the southeast there's lots of twigs, branches, leaves, that kind of thing. And they tend to get stuck in mesh real easily. So I went with the southwest, which has this Dyneema ripstop nylon stuff on the outside instead of just the mesh pockets. I think it's going to hold up a little bit better. Now, Hyperlite Mountain Gear. There's their logo. Like I said in my update video, Mike St. Pierre, he's the owner. He created this company. There's a couple of articles online about him you can read. It's really cool. He kind of is reviving this whole old mill area in Maine where these packs are made. So they're made in the USA. Boom, big thumbs up right there. That's awesome that it's made in the USA. I hate buying packs that are made in Taiwan and China and Indonesia and stuff like that. It frustrates me. I'm real big into buying American now. That's kind of a big deal to me. But with a lot of outdoor clothing and gear, it's hard because all the textile mills are overseas. But anyways, this pack is made in America, which is awesome. So let's get to the features of the pack. But read about Mike St. Pierre. It's really cool. He seems like a really nice guy. I've talked to him a couple of times on the phone. Really nice guy on the phone, and he's willing to work with you. Now, this pack is a little different from the standard Windrider Southwest because I did not get the ice axe loop, which Velcro's in right there. I don't go ice climbing. I'll never go ice climbing, so I did not get that loop. I probably shouldn't have gotten the loop on the bottom either, but that's not that big of a deal. It's like a gram maybe. But normally this pack, let's look at the side, comes with a little cutout right here that's velcroed, and that's the hydration port sleeve. I did not get that because I've gone away from carrying the Camelback and I'm going to go to carrying 1 liter bottles, and I'll just carry a 1 liter bottle right here in this big side pocket. Which is nice. The back panel is closed cell foam pad that's sewn into the pack. The shoulder straps are padded, and they have that, what is it, antimicrobial mesh stuff in it, so it doesn't get all gross. Has a daisy chain running down the side of the shoulder straps. Hip belt with lumbar pad, emergency whistle on the sternum strap, haul loop, double stitching on the top. You can see the shoulder straps are stitched and reinforced. A Y strap over the top. It's dry bag style roll top with straps down the side, which I like that a lot. I was a big fan of that. The reason I didn't get the hydration port was because, like I said, I don't use a hydration sleeve anymore, a hydration system anymore. I use water bottles, but I also wanted to make this pack as rainproof as possible. I'm not going to say it's waterproof because it's not seam sealed. So it's not waterproof, but the material is their own proprietary Cuban fiber nylon blend. Now, you might say, oh, Z-Packs has that too. No, they don't. What Z-Packs appears to be, now I'm speculating on this just based on pictures and what I've seen online and read about, is Z-Packs takes their Cuban fiber and then they sew a piece of nylon on top of that Cuban fiber. This is actually a blend. This is not sewn onto the Cuban fiber. It's extremely durable, extremely rip proof. I'm really happy with this, but it still maintains the lightweight, and the fabric itself is waterproof. The bag is not waterproof because it's not seam sealed, but the fabric itself is waterproof. Fit and finish on the pack is really good. I'm pretty impressed. One thing I have noticed. Okay, so I wanted to redo this section real quick because the lighting was so bad before. But one thing I've noticed with the Windrider Southwest pack is, and I kind of expect this, some inconsistencies with this pack just because it's a handmade pack. But one thing I have noticed is, if you look here at the hip belt, let's hope the lighting's good here. You can see that this side of the hip belt is canted, like at an angle, right? Which is kind of standard for hip belts, so that they fit your hips better when wrapped around, right? Well, but then this side is almost perpendicular to the stitch line. It's not nearly as canted. Now, I don't know if they've done that on purpose or, you know, if there's any science behind that. I actually haven't asked Mike that, but I'm hoping he'll see this video and he'll like it because I have all good things to say about it. But that is one thing I have noticed about this pack. There's a small inconsistency there with the hip belt. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Now, the hip belts do seem to have a stiff foam or plastic sheet in here to give them the body that they need, which I really like. They've got pretty big hip belt pockets, and what I'll probably put in here are small items like eating utensils, ditty bag, toiletries, and headlamp, just so I can grab those things quick, especially the headlamp if it starts to get dark at night. Just a Fastex buckle, I think that's what these things are called, which I like. You know, it's just your normal hip belt. What I would like to see Hyperlite Mountain Gear do in the future is maybe upgrade their hip belt to one of those ergo pull hip belts. I know that would it would force them to use more plastic and material, but you could use thinner webbing, I think, if you did that, kind of like what Osprey has, where it's a Y like this, and you pull the slack out instead of away from you. You pull it towards your belly button, which is a more ergonomic way of tightening down your hip belt, which I like. I had it on my Osprey, and my Gregory has it as well, my old Z55 Gregory, which I like a lot. It has that type of hip belt, and you know, it's just something that I like. It makes it a little easier to put your pack on and off. The other thing I would kind of like them to see, and I talked to them about doing this, but they couldn't do it, with this compression strap right here. This pack is pretty svelte, like thickness wise. It's a little bowed out right now just because I just stuffed 2 sleeping bags in there just so you could see it all filled out. But what I would like to see them do is have a slit sewn in right here into the stynema, and then sew this webbing underneath this pocket so that the webbing runs along the Cuban fiber and not along the pocket, and then has a slit right here where you can compress that down, and that does not affect anything that you have in this pocket, like a water bottle or whatever. You know, the elastic should keep whatever's in this pocket in the pocket, and the compression strap will keep whatever's in the pack tightened down. Whereas if you tighten this down and you have a water bottle in here, your water bottle's now tight on there, and it could be hard getting it back in and out. That's just, you know, a little feature I would like to see. I don't know if it's even doable, but I think that would be cool, beneficial to the pack. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take everything out of this pack and turn it inside out and kind of show you the stitching, the Cuban fiber on the inside, and what I did differently on the inside of this pack that makes it a little different from your standard model. So be right back. Thanks, guys. Alright, okay, so a couple hours have been by. A friend came by and I hung out with him for a little bit, but now that he's gone, I'm going to show you the inside of the the Hyperlite Mountain Gear Windrider Southwest. Alright, so I've turned the pack inside out. This is what would be the front of the pack. Here you can see where the top compression strap is sewn in. These are the stitches for the front pocket, and over here on the side there's the other pocket, and there's the other pocket. So talking about their blend, let's kind of get in close. This is obviously the Cuban part, and then the nylon is on the outside of this, because this has that kind of waxy, smooth feel. Mylar that the Cuban fiber is. The Dyneema fibers are sandwiched between the two layers of Mylar, and so then the nylon is on the outside of that. Now that's the body of the pack. Now the bottom of the pack is also the blend on the outside. I think there's two layers, kind of, you know, facing. This part faces each other, and then there's two layers here to give the bottom more durability when you're putting it down and stuff. And then all the seams are covered with this just nylon webbing, maybe polyester webbing, and then stitched closed. This seam, anything that's covered with this black, is not seam sealed or taped. So up the whole side of the pack, and then the bottom. But these are taped. Let's see if I can get in. I actually requested this. I don't know if they do this on their regular packs, but I requested anywhere they sewed into the pack to be taped. So, excuse me, so that no water could come in through the body of the pack. You probably can't really see that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, see, it's taped. Come on, focus. There we kind of go, right there. So those are all taped, and down the side too, you can kind of see where it's been taped. And then the logo on the front of the pack has been taped. Might flip it around. And the logo on the back of the pack has been taped. I got dog fur on my Velcro for the top. Made in the USA in Maine. Awesome. I love that. Now this is the closed cell foam pad for the back panel, and then this is where the two stays go. Now the stays, let me grab those. The stays that come with this pack are these thin aluminum stays. With these two stays, the pack weighs 25.45 ounces. My pack does. Normally a hydration sleeve would be sewn in right here, running the whole length of this. But I requested no hydration sleeve, like I discussed earlier. But this is the aluminum stays that ship with the pack. When I was talking with Mike on the phone, I was asking him how easy they are to bend, because I might want to bend them to fit my body, you know, whereas some other stays come pre-bent, but he was saying these come straight and they're really easy to bend. But if I really wanted bent stays, he could give me a pair that he uses in their ice pack. So he sent me two larger stays. Here they are. There's my dog. Oh yeah, she's cute. So these are two larger stays that he uses in his ice pack for heavier weight. Let me kind of show you the comparison between the two stays. So these are the thick stays, and that's the thin stay. The difference between these two stays is about 2 ounces. With these thick stays in the pack weighs 27 and change ounces. And I got those stays, one, just to see how I like them. I'm not going to use them as my, let me let my dog out. I'm not going to use them as the major, as the what I would keep in the pack all the time. I would only use those larger stays right there if I'm going like out west and I have to carry a lot of food for a long through hike, or like a bear can or something that's going to add a lot of weight to the pack. I am though going to bend these thin stays. These are pretty nice. Kind of transfers the weight of the pack onto your hips, which I like. And the reason I went with this pack over, say, their dry bag or a Z-Packs pack is because I wanted something. I don't personally. I use a Neo Air, so I don't use a closed cell foam pad. And with those kind of packs, you need a closed cell foam pad to create the body of the pack, so that the pack, carries better, supports the weight better, that kind of thing. And the fact that this came with a little pad in the back panel and the stays really pushed me towards it. Whereas the Z-Packs packs, other than they do have an external frame one, they don't have the stays in it. So that's why I went with the Hyperlite mountain gear, and it looked a little bit more robust. I've never really felt true Cuban fiber, and I was a little worried about the durability of it. I know it's strong, but maybe eventually I'll get start off with a day pack, Cuban fiber day pack, and then move into just a frameless Cuban fiber pack for summer or something like that when I go ultralight. But anyways, that's the Hyperlite mountain gear Windrider Southwest. It's kind of a bit of a tongue twister. I really like it a lot. Mike St. Pierre over at HMG, thanks so much for talking to me on the phone and working with me to get a product that I really liked. I really like it a lot. And I will give you guys a more detailed view probably later in the summer once I actually use the pack. It's kind of cold here now, and I don't really go out backpacking when it's too cold. I've got the stuff, but it's not as fun to me personally. But we'll see. I do want to do a snow trip one day. But anyways, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. And up next is a hammock video. Thanks guys.